happened the next time I was there, and the one after. There was that one time I called him on the phone, unaware he was at yet another legendary party without me. After an eternity of ringing, he finally picked up, only to report he was entering the bathroom. At first, I thought it was a good thing because we probably wouldn't have been able to speak while he was in a noisy room surrounded by chatter and music. When I realized he was actually taking a poop while we spoke, and especially as he hung up on me when he was done, I should have been furious, right? I mean, right? This guy literally shit all over me. I did not deserve to be treated this way, do I? This is what I remember thinking though. I believe he's hiding me from his friends. How about I hide several big portions of greasy pasta inside my stomach? Now, when I finally gathered the courage to question the situation critically and to point out how noticeably quiet his life was when I happened to be there, Furry got alarmingly defensive. Quote, "I can't bake a party just for you to meet my friends," end quote. Well, why not? What's so complicated about having some people over, or even better, meeting them for drinks? Quote, "I can't afford going out to eat all the time." Well, not with me. Why not? It's me who always ends up buying anyway because you forgot your wallet, haven't yet received your salary, spent all your money on online gaming, rented a giraffe, etc., etc., etc. Quote, "Honey, I can't go grocery shopping for fresh stuff. I don't have money," end quote. Again, why not? It's me who always ends up buying anyway. What's more, there was always the mention of the ex-girlfriend, his high school sweetheart, a blonde lady who lived next door. They were still friends and would hang out or head to their hometown to see their parents together a lot. At the same time, he raised the hell, should I mention me having a gig with Jay, name change for privacy reasons, one of my closest male friends at the time. Now that I think of it, Furry got really offensive and even insulting while berating me about being in Jay's company altogether. He was jealous of the guys at the gym, guys at the uni, guys at the nightclub I worked for, guests of the nightclub I worked for, guys in the recording studio, girls and guys buying drinks for my girlfriend Steph and me in a club in Tel Aviv where we went on vacation. The vacation itself. The fact that I made it my mission to shape and level up my body prior to and for the vacation in question. Well, that's what he said. What, you want to impress some hot Israeli boys at the beach? No, jackass, I just want to feel good about myself on the beach and in the pictures we take. I just want to be skinny like you. My thoughts, not my words. Sadly. Eventually, he even grew jealous of my flatmate and best friend, the guy who welcomed him with open arms every time. As did my parents. Yes, I took Furry to meet my parents, stay overnight and all. Of all some buddies that I used to know, only 3 of them got to meet my parents at that point. One of them by accident. This one on purpose, yet again showcasing how serious my intentions with him were. My parents, especially my mom, usually have strong opinions about things. What amazes me to this day, though, is how little they ever commented on the guys I presented to them, let alone criticized my choices. They're the most tolerant, supportive, and welcoming parents one can imagine, offering the safest environment to all the jerks their idiot daughter dragged home. I only remember one thing. Carefully and super gently, which wasn't typical of her at the time, my mother asked me if I felt appreciated by Furry within the relationship. For instance, knowing I adore flowers, she asked me if he'd ever brought me any. No, he hasn't, and when I dared to voice it, he came at me with a tirade of accusations on how exhaustingly demanding I was. Now, less than ever, was I to expect flowers or any gifts, he said, because he would feel like giving them to me was following my command, and, quote, nobody likes that, quote. Huh, spoken by the guy who commanded me to leave the recording studio immediately because all the colleagues on the project were male. I don't quite remember, but it seems like I must have eaten quite some cheese sandwiches that night, just to feel horribly guilty about it only minutes later. In addition, I felt guilty for now running the risk of looking even more massive next to my skinny boyfriend who was already resenting me big time. Thank God my gym was open until midnight, and I'm pretty sure I went to burn up some of the sandwich calories last minute. There was that one time some random guy texted me on the same social platform I mentioned above. The guy's picture looked suspiciously familiar. Oh right, I remember. I've seen that picture on a particular stock photo website Furry showed me once, as his design colleagues and him often used content from that stock. So the guy texted me in a really forward manner, basically wanting to meet up at the club, the one I happened to work for, later that night. Although we never texted ever before, the guy seemed to be quite up to date regarding my hobbies, my jobs, and my friends. He even knew Jay by name. Yes, one can gather all sorts of information from a person's social feed, but this guy's intelligence felt creepily detailed. For a moment, I had a faint suspicion of Furry being behind this weird little operation, but tried to let go of that suspicion with all I had in order to avoid being unfair to poor Furry hanging all alone, surrounded by dozens of friends and acquaintances, including the blonde ex at yet another legendary party in a city far, far away. As the conversation moved on and stock photo guy kept pushing me to confirm I'd meet him later, I finally gave in just to test his limits. Next thing I know, Furry was texting me reporting stock photo guy just texted him to tell on me, the bad girlfriend who had agreed to have a date with him later that night. Also, stock photo guy texted me he had got word from my boyfriend. Can you smell this? Yes, I did too, but yet again, I let him convince me of all of this being a coincidence and of me being a bad, egoistic, promiscuous person. Relationships aren't about feeling happy all the time, are they? Carrie Bradshaw's voice popping up in the back of my mind saying, honey, you just compared your relationship to chemo. In addition to this relationship, the one with my best friend Ani was crumbling. She and I had a series of falling outs about her newly acquired jackass boyfriend who treated her and people close to her, including me, like shit. Some wannabe aristocratic jerk with a golf club up his rectum, making my friend figuratively walk on eggshells and behave like a Duracell rabbit. Not only didn't I like him, I really don't care about the likes of him, I didn't like her in his company. Do you feel the irony creeping up on all of us hearing this? To be fair, I'm pretty sure she felt the same way about me and Furry at some point, but unlike me, she is, and always has been, very diplomatic. Enter Unicorn Crush, short UC. I'll share all the details to UC volumes 1 through 6 in a different short story with you, but let me tell you this. He was my flesh and blood equivalent to Leo Tolstoy's Walking in Agony, my freaking kryptonite. As if I hadn't enough trouble already convincing my whiny, insecure, jealous, and territorial boyfriend I didn't have an affair with my flatmate, or Jay, or any of the guys at the club, or any of the guys at the gym, the studio, the uni, the supermarkets, you name it, the universe now sent this one back on my weary head. I haven't seen or heard from UC for a year now. Our last encounter left my heart and therefore my eating disordered body shattered. To my latest knowledge, again thanks to social platforms, he was abroad and had a girlfriend. Well, it didn't look all that abroad to me when he stood right there only 50 meters away from me at my favorite entrance to the law department of my uni's library. Didn't feel all that happily in love with someone else either by the way he scanned me head to toe and back several times. So I ran and I hid, in the library, the geography department. Far away from all the books I actually needed, but I felt safe for a second. I felt safe because after deleting his number for the 100th time a year ago, not only did I finally manage to erase it from my memory too, but I also assumed that he changed it altogether after a year abroad. He did, but I didn't, which is why I got a text from UC a couple of hours later. A text that did not have much of a content, but totally swept me off my feet by the mere fact of fluttering in. Do you want to make an educated guess as to whether or not Furry tried to comfort me after experiencing my strong reaction to UC's bold reappearance on my phone?
Without you I won, without you I'm strong, without you I carry on.